All right, guys, this is my like 5th attempt at a long form video. Hopefully it goes well. I got a new cool nifty gimbal looking gadget. I will tag what I'm using because it's really cool. I saw Lauren Hull from Furniture Flipping Teacher use it and I was like, I need that, immediately bought it. So that's what I'm filming on. Wow, I think this might be a little too clear, this video, because it is so hot in my garage. You can really see how rough I look. Oh. All right, anyway, we are doing a Bassett lowboy dresser. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $40. I messaged the woman, I was like, if I give you another $10, would you drop it off? And she was like, sure. So she delivered it straight to my garage and now I have it. I believe it's Bassett. It does not have any maker's marks on it. It does have a laminate top and a few knobs missing, so I'm gonna have to replace those. Back, it says it's the holiday series. Haven't heard of that Bassett line before, but it's pretty cute. It should be easy, but now that I'm saying that out loud, I know it's not going to be easy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I apologize at my sad attempt of a long form video, but I'm trying. So let's go. It is in pretty rough shape. That whole banded edge is going to need to be replaced. Laminate top, which I'm not sure if I'll keep or not yet. The sides are in pretty decent shape. A penny, some screws. Wow, I'm rich. Some pretty cool hardware, but these little screws look new. Pretty cool hardware. I feel like I might regret doing this, but I think it'll just be easier if I take it off and reband it than if I try to fill that in and then match it, because there's just so much damage. So I know once I do it, I can't really go back. So that's what I'm a little nervous about. I'm just gonna go for it. Oh, whoopsies. Coming off this easily, then we don't want it. Oh man, also looks like I'm gonna have to chip this off too. And a little chisel can't fix. Yeet! 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 Staples button, that was easy. This one is not coming off as easily. Wondering if I can just sand this down smooth right there and then not have to remove it all. I just want it to look nice though once I put on the new banded veneer. All right, we have 120 grit on here on my festool. I'm gonna sand the sides because I feel like those are in really good shape. I'm still kind of deciding if I'm gonna re-veneer the whole front and the top. The hard part is the veneer that I have is not oxidized, right? It's like brand new walnut veneer, whereas this stuff has been sitting for like 70 plus years. So that's why it's kind of a more warmer walnut. It's been oxidized. So, and kind of exposed to the elements in a sense. So I'm worried that if I do the top, I'm not going to be able to color match that to the front and the sides. So, and the fronts have so much damage already that I feel like it might just be easy to just veneer those. So we'll see. I'm going to see what this looks like sanded, and then I'm going to kind of decide what I do with the fronts. So let's sand. Unimpressed with this veneer. I honestly think this is like the crappiest veneer I have ever come across in my time furniture flipping, and I'm really surprised because it is Bassett, and Bassett is usually great furniture, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. It's sanded super unevenly. I don't know. You even see kind of like the nail mark right here from where that was like a nail gun from when it was assembled, which I just can't believe how low quality this is. So I think I am going to move forward with completely re-veneering everything. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into because I'm not that great at it, but I think it would be a better upgrade to this piece than to just try and stain it, because I mean, what's the point of staining and bringing out the wood grain if the wood grain looks like this? So, and before you jump down my throat, this is veneer. This is veneer. Veneer is a thin piece of high quality wood over a different, like a lesser quality substance, like MDF particle board, or like a lesser quality wood. And you can see that right here. So you see how this is the really thin veneer, and then this looks like some sort of pressed wood. So that's how it's assembled. So what I'm doing, or what I'm going to do, is just put new veneer on top of this. And again, veneer is a thin piece of high quality wood. So I'm not putting laminate on it. A lot of the times those two get confused. This is not laminate that I'm putting on. I'm putting on better veneer on top of old broken veneer. So here are the drawers. So what I think I'm going to do is epoxy all the little chips, then lightly sand so I can apply the veneer properly. I am going to use some quick wood epoxy putty. Kind of looks like a roll of candy, but you definitely don't want to eat it. I just take a little piece off. Now in the middle is the hardening agent, and the outside is something, I don't know, it's like a two-part thing, but you knead it all together. You can see the different colors start to swirl together. And this stuff you want to work with relatively quick because it hardens pretty quick. So once it all becomes the same color, that's when you can start putting it down. So I like to just take it, my finger, just like that. I like to overfill it just slightly and then press it down. Using a Bondo spreader also works if you want to get it more flat. Kind of let it sit and cure. All right, now we are going to scuff sand this surface so that the glue adheres a little bit better when I do put on the veneer. I'm actually gonna put on 80 grit to scuff sand because I was using 120 and I just feel like it's not scuffing it up enough, so 80. Just rearrange the drawers in the order that they go in the dresser. And so you can see the grain on these bottom 4 go this way, and then the grain on these top 2 drawers go this way. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind when I cut the new veneer, which I'm not really great at that because I wanna make sure I get it right so that the grain is going straight across and not like this. So I'm not really great at being parallel or exact or accurate on any stuff like this, but I'm gonna try. Oops, Skeeter. Here is the big old sheet of veneer I'm going to use. It has an adhesive backing. I had to cut out the shapes of the drawers by just like tracing it, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, it's pretty. So I did leave some extra both on this end and that end. So that is this first one. Just really kind of winging this. Need to remember to cut like excess on each. Back out in the garage, had to cut it short yesterday, had to go be a mom. So I traced the veneer. I'm gonna cut that now. Hopefully I cut it the way I'm supposed to, and then I'm gonna sand these drawers smooth so that the filler is level, and then get to sticking, and then hopefully the rest of the other veneer that I ordered comes today and matches this one. There we go. Great, time to sand this epoxy. Okay, so I sanded everything down with 120 grit and I smoothed out all of this epoxy. Now I need to clean this surface before I apply the veneer because this is a sticky, so I obviously want to make sure there's no dust particles on this piece. So I'm gonna just use some shop towels. I should be using alcohol, but I don't have any. All I have is lacquer thinner, and I think this should do the trick. I don't want to use mineral spirits because I'm not really sure if that would affect the adhesion or not, but we'll see how. See? It's picking it up. Give that a second to dry and then we'll apply the veneer. I think we're just gonna go for it. So this is sticky veneer. What I'm gonna do is just line up. I'm gonna slightly overlap the edges. Make sure I have enough. And then if I just dry fit the rest of this, I have just enough. Okay. Now, as I do this, I'm going to use my Cricut brayer tool. And then I will slowly peel off more of the sticker as I go. There we go. That was stressful. I'm sweating, but we did it. It just got delivered in the mail. I have never used one before, but we're gonna give it a shot. Am I doing this wrong? Doesn't really seem to let me get as close as I want to get. Can't really recommend this guy. I get it. I was doing it wrong. I gotta go this way. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, maybe I will link it. Now you can kind of see there's excess here, here. Obviously I have to cut this out. So I'm gonna probably do that now just so it's all flush. Back out here, day 4 of working on this piece. I have these two drawers, so on this side of the dresser left and then the top. And then I'm still waiting on the veneer to come so I can do the sides and do the sides and the top. So waiting on that. I'm gonna clean this to get the dust off. What I do have, which did get delivered, was the banded veneer. I have that somewhere. This got delivered. So this is a perfect match to the veneer. So I will band the edges here. Basically the whole piece. And that I will do with an iron, but I'm gonna get these drawers done first, so I can chill out about that. This degreaser, which is gonna take a minute to dry, and just degrease all these areas. I am gonna sand this really fast too. I got a little bit too much of, or I got a wider width than I needed, just because that's all that they had. So I'm gonna do, I have it right there, and then this is where I'm gonna iron it from. I'm just going for it. There we go. Okay, banded veneer is done. I did all of the edges. Just did everything that shows. The side here. And now all that's left is to do the sides and the top. So I'm gonna get started on that. 2 of working on this dresser, which I guess doesn't really matter to you guys, so I don't even know why I'm telling you that, because you're gonna see it all in one video. But to keep it realistic, it is week 2, day 7. Yesterday or Friday, I wasn't able to veneer the top, so I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna degrease it again with some crud cutter, spray that, wipe that down, and then put it on. And then I have to still do the sides and the 2 top drawer fronts. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna try and get it done quick because it's gonna rain tomorrow, so I wanna get stain and top coat done today. A little degreaser. Oh, pretty clean. Clean. So definitely an oopsie on my part. When I bought the veneer, I didn't really take into account the top 2 drawers. Now, just to remind you, the top 2 drawers have the veneer going down, whereas the bottom 4 drawers have the veneer going side to side. So Now I'm trying to cut the veneer so that I can still keep that grain going down, but it's just a little too short. And so I don't have the proper width veneer to do that. Yikes. I might just have to go straight across, which isn't gonna look very cohesive because it's a completely different strip of or sheet of veneer than I did on the bottom floor. So trying to kind of think about what I should do. I'm thinking. I don't even think I'm gonna acknowledge that little line on the inside. There's like a little split, and I think I'm just gonna leave that because I don't know, I think because I don't have the grain going downwards that it might just look better as is, but we'll see. Time to band the veneer, getting a little bit better at this. I just got a little too cocky. Oh my God. I went to go put on the veneer of the last drawer. This grain is exactly what I needed for it to match everything else. I didn't dry fit. I just kind of went for it as I figured, and whatever. I accidentally put it on an angle, so then I had to peel it off and it ripped up the veneer on the original piece. So now I have to fill that in. I'm trying to peel off this chunk of veneer that's on here as best as I can so I can try and salvage this piece. I think I'll be able to maybe salvage this. It's still pretty sticky, but damn. Now I gotta fill this whole thing. Time to go do that. So I added some filler to that piece. That's probably going to take a while to dry. All done, nice and flush. So this is ready for veneer. What I have been putting off are these legs because clearly they don't match the rest of the piece. So I think I'm gonna scrape sand those and see if I can maybe color match them too with whatever stain I go with. But yeah, kind of a pain because these don't screw off, so I have to flip the whole piece. But I've been putting it off, so time to do it. All right, day 8 in the garage, not that you guys care, but putting on the sides of the veneer today. It is pretty gloomy here, lots of skeeters in the garage, pretty humid, kind of, so I'm a little nervous about that, so I'm gonna stay in today because I didn't get to do that yesterday. I need to stop saying what I'm gonna be doing. I never get to end up doing it, so I'm not gonna say what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna get it done. Anyway. Putting on this side veneer, cut it yesterday before I went in. Gonna put that on. Wait, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do. Dry fit it. And then I'm gonna cut this excess. It's a sloppy cut, but got it done. So I just peel back a little bit. Like that much. And then I want to kind of curve it so that I can really okay. Whew. First stick is always the most stressful. Okay, now I'm going to use a Gator micro zip thing and just kind of get all of the edges. I'm using 220 grit, just very lightly. Out the edges so that less likely to get caught on something. All right, we are applying Minwax pre-stain. Going to give it a good mix. So this pre-conditioner, I'll put this on and then I'll leave this on for 5 to 15 minutes, and then from there I'll wipe off any excess. And then I just have to apply the stain within 2 hours of this application. So look at that, it's a nice color. My crazy dog is probably what you're gonna hear in the background, but for a stain, we're going with Minwax Early American. Wipe on, wipe off. So I apologize in advance. I have neighbors getting a new roof and my dogs are barking, so not the best background noise. But I am about to drill some holes into the top drawers of this dresser. I'm going to use the holes that are on the back of the veneer as a guide. And I'm gonna do this before I put on the top coat because I don't want the top coat to harden the veneer anymore and then make it more likely to chip. So I'm gonna do that. Again, I apologize for the barking. I'm going to take some painter's tape and put it where the holes are, just to make that, I think, sometimes that can help with the chipping. Sometimes. And then I think I got that hole. So what I'm gonna do is literally just very, very slowly drill right through these holes. Okay, that was pretty easy. That was pretty good. Okay. Okay, we'll take it. Perfect. I am going to be applying Min-Wax oil-based polyurethane. With a Purdy paintbrush. This stuff is one of my favorites to apply. I feel like it's so user-friendly. And I just lightly coat it. Time to put in the new hardware. The original hardware was super similar to this, just a little bit smaller. However, it did not come, or a few of them were missing. Now to put on the original hardware, which I have dry fit a few of them. Some of them are going on a little weird.
So this is what the piece looked like to begin with. It was only $50, but it had this terrible laminate top. Nobody wants laminate. The veneer that it did have on the sides and the front was chipped and falling off, and just low quality, anything that wasn't chipped. Plus, it didn't have the original knobs. Now, are you ready to see the after?
So here she is. I am actually really proud with how this one came out. I mean, I really stepped out of my comfort zone with re-veneering the entire thing. And I mean, I veneered the entire thing. All the edges, all the drawer fronts, top, sides, everything. I'd originally only just planned on doing the top because that was laminate. But then once I started sanding the drawer fronts, the sides, and saw how low quality it all was, I knew it all needed to be re-veneered. Now, it was expensive. Veneer is not cheap. It could have just been where I was buying it from too. But that is something to consider if you do want to try this. I do need to do a price breakdown and see how much it was, just so I can make sure I'm getting a little bit back in profit, because this was a lot of labor. This did take me about, I think it was 9 days, and probably about 4 hours, 5 hours each day at a minimum. So do the math on that. Yeah, when you calculate all the labor that went into this and the cost of the veneer, the only other cost I really had were the new knobs, which were pretty cheap. I think I paid about $15 for 10 of them. And so I only used 4, so I have, 6 more for my next project or a project in the future. Definitely not perfect. Nothing I do ever is, and I've accepted that, but veneering is something you definitely need to be super precise about, I think, and especially when it comes to cutting the edges and excess and all of that. But for my first time veneering an entire piece, I'm pretty proud of myself. And next time I do this, I do want to go like the contact cement route instead of using the sticker backed. I don't know if that would be better adhesion, worse, easier to apply, or harder, but yeah. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you would pay for this, because I really don't know how much to list it for, because it is a Bassett piece. It has brand new veneer all over it. It has the original bottom hardware. It is in great shape now, and it's definitely ready for another 50, 60 years. So let me know what you think and how much I should ask for, and let me know your comments. Would you try veneer? Would you not after seeing this video? Hopefully I didn't discourage anybody, and hopefully you actually made it to the end of this video, because like I've been saying, long form is not my expertise. It is definitely new to me, so I appreciate you watching the entire thing, and hopefully you learned something. If you have any constructive criticism for me, let me know in the comments, but constructive. Remember, I am a human on the other end of all of this, so be nice. But thanks for watching, guys.